WWE Under Fire, but they may be giving the fans what they've been asking for, a locker room divide, good news for Alexa Bliss fans, and more. I am Luke Owen and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
This past Monday saw the debut of WWE's newest signee, El Grande Americano, a reported Lucha Libre legend who Chad Gable met while he was in Mexico. It has been claimed that El Grande Americano and Chad Gable are one and the same, but Raw a few weeks ago showed the two of them in the same shot. That hasn't stopped the likes of Michael Cole claiming they are the same person, and Big E noted on WWE's Definitely Not an Attempt to Stop You Listening to Other Wrestling Podcasts, Raw Recap podcast, I know Chad Gable's body. I've seen that man in many locker rooms and many wrestling rings. I know every square inch. I know how it all lays out. I know how the lats taper to the waist, okay? It wasn't intentional, okay? I spent a lot of time around half-naked men and also naked men. This is not what I intended when I started out in this journey, but it's a byproduct of this profession, okay? WrestleVotes reported that the match between El Grande Americano and Dragon Lee from Raw got heavy praise from those backstage in WWE. But while some are having a lot of fun with this character, others are apparently not. There was some Twitter outrage following Monday's Raw and the presentation of the character. Firstly, because WWE reportedly used AI to generate the images of El Grande Americano's past, and because he was announced as hailing from the Gulf of America, which could be argued as a very political joke. But Twitter outrage is not real life. However, according to WrestleVotes on Sportskeeda's Wrestle Binge, there is some real life heat over the angle. They said they may have shown praise backstage, but the lucha community in Mexico is pissed off. They add, it's not like, like a funny thing. It's like a religion. It's like mocking their religion. WrestleVotes go on to say that those same people are also upset because WWE did not make more of a deal of El Grande Americano ripping off the mask of Dragon Lee to score the win, comparing it to the outrage WCW commentators would show when they did similar angles, saying that when WCW ran similar angles, their commentators were outraged at the act. WrestleVotes concluded, from what I understand, the traditional old school luchadors and the fans that follow the tradition like a religion in Mexico were very upset. What did you make of the angle and this reaction to it? Let me know in the comments down below. Please do be civil, it is Friday after all. Speaking of people speaking out against WWE, and the former Mandy Rose took a shot at WWE this past week after the company claimed Stephanie Vaquer was the first women's double champion in NXT history, posting on Twitter, haha, yeah, it's pretty pathetic, isn't it? This of course brought out the pedants, who pointed out that Mandy Rose unified the NXT Women's Championship and the NXT UK Women's Championship, which is technically not the same as holding two different titles. And now responding to those fans, Rose has said, it's so funny to me that the people who have never held a championship before are the first to sit there and argue about what counts as a double champion. Y'all can argue semantics all you want, but I still held two titles at the same time. Whose side are you taking on in this epic war of words? Let me know in the comments down below. There had been some talk online as of late of a potential Mandy Rose return. And speaking of returns, Alexa Bliss made her return to WWE at this past January's Royal Rumble. She had taken time off from WWE to start a family, and there were reports shortly before her return that she and WWE were not in agreement over the terms of a new contract. There were even reports that all of her creative pitches were put on hold indefinitely, but reportedly a deal came together over Rumble weekend, which allowed her to return to the ring. Bliss then qualified for the Elimination Chamber, which she did not win, and hasn't been seen on TV since. Fans then noticed that Bliss had been removed from a WWE Fanatics event over WrestleMania weekend, with Fanatics saying that she would no longer be attending and gave no reason. It was then misaggregated that Sean Rossap of Fightful Select reported she'd been removed from WrestleMania altogether, which Sean never did. And now he supplied a new update on the Alexa Bliss situation, answering a Fightful Select subscriber who asked where she was. She's not injured, she's fine, she's got no issues with WWE that I've heard of, and is very happy from what I understand, just waiting on creative plans. Those creative plans could involve the return of Uncle Howdy, who's been dealing with an injury that has kept Wyatt Six off TV since last December. And speaking of giving the fans what they want, back in 2018, WWE came under fire from fans following their massive money-making deal with Saudi Arabia to run 2 shows there a year. The reason this came under fire was, amongst other things, it was reported that that women would not be allowed to wrestle on those shows due to cultural differences. As a response to this criticism, WWE put on Evolution, their first ever all-female pay-per-view show. While the show received a lot of praise online, it was reportedly not a huge commercial success for the company, and as such, it never became an annual event. But talent and fans have been asking WWE to bring it back, and it seems like every few months, a WWE wrestler will do an interview where they ask for Evolution 2, and now it seems like they might finally get their wish. Corey Hayes of PW Nexus first reported that WWE were looking to bring back Evolution for this summer, and WrestleVotes have now confirmed that report. Hayes noted the proposed date for the show would be the July 5th one in Connecticut. And speaking of giving the fans what they want, we do too, so here is Turbo Jack to shout out some very special people from patreon.com/WrestleTalk.
I made his wrestler Turbo Jack giving Paul one last chance. Place John Cena with the Turd Man. It's the best fit. Final boss Rocky Johnson, Travis Scott, and Turbo Jack. Now I'm contractually obliged to talk about patreon.com/WrestleTalk. If you join right now, you can watch Ollie and Luke's full 8-episode, 30-hour-long series on The Rock versus John Cena from 2011 to 2013. If you supported the $30 tier, you get a shout out from Turbo Jack on this very show. They put the Mo in Movember, the British Bulldog, Philip Boy J. Smith Jr., Adrian Rocky. He can last Sean Fur longer than you in the ring. Starbucks Stephen Custer, Shield Maiden the Zornice, the Brahma Bull Rockberto, and the Cleaner Kenny Shaw. It's a broom, not a shovel. Go to patreon.com/WrestleTalk right now to get your own shout out and loads of bonus videos.
Logan Paul is a man who has had his fair share of controversies follow him around, which has meant that his run in WWE has split opinions. Those who like him, those who don't, and those who don't but will admit that he's annoyingly pretty bloody good at it. And according to the former Baron Corbin, it's not just fans, but the WWE locker room that is split on Logan Paul. He told Ariel Helwani when asked if Logan Paul has respect of the WWE locker room, I mean, sure, I don't know. When pushed by Helwani for giving a soft response, Corbin, who now wrestles as Bishop Dyer, explained that while Logan Paul works hard, he's not putting in the same level of effort that those who do the house show loops week in, week out are. He adds, I just don't like those guys that get the super special treatment. It's not like he earned it from working his way up through NXT. He gets that treatment because of his stardom through social media and through YouTube. So I think he's handed a lot of things that I think there are more deserving talent of it. But he's getting the views. Dyer goes on to say, I just think that I'm protective of this industry, and when outsiders come in like that with a gold spoon or platinum spoon or whatever spoon he's eating off of, I struggle to really buy into it. But some guys have, and some guys don't care. There's 85% of the roster that are fighting for spots, and when they bring in guys like that, it just takes those spots without any effort. I think that can be frustrating. So when I say maybe, maybe not, it's probably a 50-50 split. Speaking of 50-50, and there appears to be some split opinions over TNA's most recent LOL TNA action when it was announced that they had fired Gail Kim and others from the company. The news garnered a lot of sympathy towards Gail Kim, who is very well respected in the world of wrestling. Jim Ross even noted on his podcast that he would like to see Gail Kim brought into AEW, and several wrestlers voiced their displeasure over the news on social media. However, according to BQ on his Negative BQ podcast, Gail Kim had been butting heads with TNA president Carlos Silva. He said at least one person said they actually weren't surprised, because Gail Kim has been very outspoken creatively and would sometimes butt heads with people in control. And he's expanded upon that report to say that Kim also butted heads with Ariel Sherner, who was fired this week from his position as head of creative. BQ said that the two did not like each other, and it was creating a backstage environment that left Silva with the choice between the two, so he opted to fire both. But this is of course counter to what has been reported about Gail Kim, saying that she was unanimously popular and her firing was met with shock, disbelief and anger. Speaking of Ariel Sherner, Fightful Select report, Ariel Sherner was a departure that many saw coming after Carlos Silva took over as TNA president. A lot of the names that met success in TNA in the last year were set up by Ariel. We're told that Sherner did have a situation while visiting NXT late last year where talent requested he not be in the locker room, as well as Shawn Michaels having to correct him on some things. This Sunday, we'll be posting a brand new tables, lists, and chairs video where we will count down the 10 worst WrestleMania matches of all time. So to whet your appetite for that, here is a countdown of the best WrestleMania matches of all time.